A blessed day, everyone! Our topic for today is about grafting and propagation of rubber plants. And I have two varieties here. The first one is the Ficus elastica Robusta, or the one which has dark green leaves. And I have also the variegated rubber plant, and this is one of my favorite. And for the disclaimers, I'm not a professional gardener. I'm just a trying hard plantita. This grafting project, or maybe much better to call it an experiment, is just a product of boredom and curiosity. Welcome to Hero Streets, and thank you for watching this video. To make this project, we only need 5 materials: cutter, grafting tape, tissue, alcohol, and gloves. For the cutter, we need a sharp one here to be able to cut the stem easily and smoothly. Actually, I bought a grafting scissors, but when I tried it in my desert rose, I had a difficulty in using it. So I just used a cutter instead. I also need a grafting tape. I just bought this from Noon for 12 dirhams. Noon, baka naman. So if you want to try grafting also and you don't have yet this tape, most probably you can use a cling wrap or maybe a regular tape. You just try, I'm not sure. We will be needing tissue and alcohol also for the disinfection of the cutter that we are going to use. And we need the tissue to wipe the sap from the plant after cutting. So let's try to explain what grafting is. According to Wikipedia, grafting is a horticultural technique wherein tissues of plants are being joined so as to continue their growth together. The upper part or the added piece of the combined plant is called a scion, while the lower part is called the rootstock. The success of this joining requires that the vascular tissues grow together, and such joining is called inosculation. Wow, this is a new term for me also. There are so many kinds of grafting, and what I did is an example of top wedge stem grafting. This is usually done when the scion's diameter is less than the rootstock stem diameter. So for our first step, we need to sanitize the cutter first before using it so that we can be sure that there's no contamination on the plants after cutting it. For the scion, cut just above the node so that there will be a part on the stem to be cut as a wedge, and gently wipe the sap to prevent it from dripping on the other part of the plant. You can leave the tissue there as is. And for the rootstock, gently cut below the node. Please take note that in the scion, it's above the node. This time, we need to cut below the node so that there will be an ample part of the stem wherein we will be inserting the scion. Wipe again the sap. Gently cut the stem vertically but prevent from reaching the node. And wipe again the sap. So our rootstock is now ready and waiting for the scion. To prepare the scion, make a wedge by cutting the stem on both sides. Do this in a single stroke as much as possible. And make sure that you are cutting below the node. And now, our scion is ready to be inserted in our rootstock. Carefully insert the scion into the slit of the rootstock. Oops! Once again! And we are almost done on grafting these two varieties and hoping that they will grow together. Yes, to forever! This time, we need to tie the knot for them to achieve forever. Cut approximately 10 inches of the grafting tape and use it to wrap or to secure the grafted section in place. Gently pull the tape so that it will stretch a little bit, and this will help us to make it tighter. I would like to inform you that this grafting method or procedure that I'm showing you is just like a reenactment of the actual process that I've done before because I didn't film the first time I've tried this project. So from our scion, I choose to cut this one on the left, which already lost some of its leaves. I've tried getting two scions, the topmost part and a part of the stem, and the rest are for propagation. And allow me to present to you our finished products. This is the first one. I've tried using this part of the stem without leaves. In our second trial, I used the topmost part of the variegated rubber plant. Oh, by the way, aside from grafting, we have a byproduct activity, and which is the propagation of the cuttings. I've got 3 cuttings from the variegated one and 3 also from the Robusta. Now let's see the progress of our project. Last May 31, I've noticed that there are some sprouts already on all the cuttings of the variegated rubber plant and the one cutting on the Robusta. Let me show you them one by one. Let's start from the cuttings of the Robusta. Let's call this one Uno because it has one leaf. As you can see, there's a sprout already on the node, but there's no sign of any roots. So let's proceed with the next one. This time, let's call him Dos. Do you know why? Because this one has 2 leaves. Dos came from the topmost part of one of the Robusta that I have operated, and it has no signs of any sprouts nor roots. And for the last cutting for the Robusta, do you know its name? Yes, you're right. This is Tres. Do I still need to explain? Just like Dos, there's no sign of any sprouts nor roots. So I therefore conclude that Dos and Tres have no growth yet because they are still young compared to Uno, since they are on the topmost part of the plant. Do you find my conclusion valid? Let's move on to the variegated cuttings. Let's call this one Barry. Okay, as you can see, there is already a sprout on the node, but there's no roots as well. Let's call this one Scar. And same as Barry, sprout present, roots absent. This is Tim. There are sprouts already on both nodes and the roots are getting visible. Now, let's check the progress of the main plant wherein I've got my scion. Wow, there's a sprout already. So if you want to make your rubber plant bushy, this is what you can do. For the update of our main project, here's what happened on the first trial wherein I've used a stem only. The scion is already dry, so sad. That means this is unsuccessful. But wait, there's more. Have you seen that there is a sprout on the node? So even if the grafting itself did not turn as expected, there's still good news. See? There's always a good thing in everything. So don't lose hope. As they say, if plan A did not work, there are still many letters left in the alphabet. Let's talk about trial 2. On May 20, this is what it looks like. And then on June 2, the scion's leaves are already dropping down. So does this mean that it's unsuccessful again? Surprise! On June 10, the leaves are happy again. Indeed, this is a success. So you see, even plants have their own priorities. The variegated rubber plant showed first sign of progress. However, having no sprouts nor roots doesn't mean that the Robusta is a failure. It's still alive. So let's not judge others so easily. Everybody is running their own race. We don't know what they are going through. Just mind our own business and always remember that patience is a virtue. I would like to show you the final progress report last June 29. Do you remember Barry? These are already its sprouts. You see, the leaves are getting bigger and there's roots already. And this is Scar. And look at those leaves. They're so cute. But I wonder why they have different colors, just like in Ruby. And its roots are getting visible. Sorry, my hand is shaking. This is Tim. The sprouts are still small and even the roots. So let's proceed with the final progress of the Robusta. This is Uno. Its sprout barely changed, but look at its roots. They seems excited to be planted. Let's look at those. No signs of any sprouts, but hey, look at the roots! Here's Tres, and just like those, the roots are already long, but still no sign of any sprouts. Here's the main plant of the Scion. The sprout did not change too much compared to the cuttings that I'm propagating in the water. And to add up, this is my project since last year. This is a drying leaf which I propagated also in the water. The drying of the upper part of the leaf stops, but there's no any additional sprouts. And this is already its root system after a year. So if I may suggest, if you are planning to propagate your rubber plant, much better to use its stem and not just a leaf. So let's reveal the final outcome of our trial 2. I let our son Cedric to remove the grafting tape because he is also excited to see what happened on the grafted section. Thank you, Cedric, for helping mommy as always. I love you! I would like to inform you that the rootstock that I have used to show you the procedure is the same rootstock of that in trial 1 because I don't have any video when I did it. So just to show you the step-by-step procedures, I opted to do it again, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it will be a success this time. And this is the final result. So since the roots of the Robusta are already stable, I let Cedric to plant it last June 29. Before I end this video, I would like to share with you one of my favorite Bible verse, and it is from the book of Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. It says here, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So if ever you are not meeting your goals right now, don't be sad and don't lose hope. And if you're waiting for something, always remember that God's delay is not God's denial. And always bear in mind that God's plan is always better than our plan. And just like a rubber plant, there's always a right time to sprout and there's a time to grow its roots. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed watching this grafting project and propagation. Thank you once again and stay safe always. Bye!